great pleasure in being able to start up this portion of our evening in which 2 awards will be presented. I would actually think that perhaps in regard to the first one, I should be playing We Are the Champions, because Billy Mills, who is going to be, as we know, recognized for this evening's Alumni Service Award, is there. So when I took this picture, it was about 10 years ago, and Billy was looking down at the field.
I'm just recording this for Billy and Sky.
His brother-in-law is the athletic director of the team that they were playing. So my question was, what do we think Billy was thinking at that time? Well, one of the things about Billy, when we talked about this idea that he is getting this award, I said, I felt that he exemplified what his brother-in-law often said about someone, the way Billy is, and we know him. And his brother-in-law would use these terms, just 2 terms: unspoken, understood. To me, that typifies Billy Mills in the sense that he is a person who has a very low profile in his own mind, but in our minds, you're going to hear a few of the words in his Who's Who, which is quite lengthy and right here on this plaque. I would say that I'd like to just mention a vignette that Howard Arbuckle mentioned to me last week when we were talking. That was to highlight Billy's competitive nature for Davidson. So sit with me as Steph Curry is warming up on the floor out in California now. But exactly in March of 2008, Steph Curry was warming up in Michigan, and Billy and Libby and Howard and Margaret went to the game, and I think actually Phil Hazel was the pilot who took Billy and Libby up. And so they're marshaled into one of the restaurants in downtown Detroit before the game, and they're seated just along with a lot of other red coats. And across from them happens to be the storied former coach of the University of Michigan team. And so according to what Howard mentioned, let me ask Howard what Billy said after they had a very, very pleasant evening. What was that phrase?
So, it was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, I'm sorry.
We couldn't get into the Davidson bar, where it was flooded from Davidson from all over the country. Couldn't get in there. So we go look for our place. Well, we see another bar, and people dressed in red. So we go in. They're very nice. And they're kind of thinking, oh, we're really in the wrong place. Very helpful. It was the story of Wisconsin football coaches there, and all the witch runners were. And everybody said, oh, we got Davidson across our chest. Everybody's saying buy us a beer. So we get up and go to the game. And Billy says, y'all have been so nice. Oh, they're really nice. Just thank you very much. You're just being nice because you think you're going to win, and you got another ball.
Well, I think Billy really wanted this to be a concise evening, and I will make it so by trying to highlight a few things. But this wonderful service award that was given to us by the Alumni Association, which of course represents all the 15,000 or so living alumni of Davidson, perhaps more now, but it's a significant association in which Billy was on the board of trustees for 4 years some time ago. So I will put forth this in words. Each year, the board of directors makes this award and it recognizes alumni who have rendered and performed a high degree of service to the college. This year, the Alumni Association Board has selected William Mills, 1964, to receive the Alumni Service Award. On campus, Billy distinguished himself in and out of the classroom. He lettered in 3 sports and was captain of both the wrestling and the track teams. Most valuable player for wrestling. Sam has some good stories about that. And Davidson College record holder for pole vault at the time of graduation. He received the Tommy Peters Memorial Award presented to the male athlete, best typifying the Davidson spirit in athletic competition and campus leadership. Billy was president of Sigma Delta Psi, a national athletic fraternity, and a member of Beta Theta Pi social fraternity. Asterisk to the Sigma Delta Psi is the fact that I looked that up. The Stanford Daily, our university on the other corner of the United States, did a story in 1964 when Billy graduated. It gave the qualifications for someone who won that distinction. Billy was the president of the local chapter, but you wouldn't believe what you had to go through in order to be distinguished. There are a lot of us who were involved in some organizations, but we didn't have to meet the test. Would you believe that there are 15 different elements to this, and that you are judged on moral, academic, and athletic prowess? And one of the characteristics that you had to demonstrate was good posture. And good posture was measured by some stature that was in Harvard University. So Billy's got that background, but you also had to run the 100-yard dash in less than 11.6 seconds. And you had to be able to broad jump, running broad jump, 17 feet, on and on and on. I was just, I was amazed, but Billy never really talked about that. And so I thought that you all should know that it meets at least 13 out of those 15 categories. There was a moral side of it too, and there was an academic side, and he nailed it. So here we are tonight, and recognize the fact that he was the president of that fraternity on campus. After leaving Davidson, Billy confirmed Davidson's primary purpose of preparing graduates for lives of leadership and service. Again, I'm reading directly from the document. An economics major at Davidson, Billy earned his MBA from Wake Forest University and enjoyed a long and successful career at Paola Yarns, the yarn spinning plant that his family had in Statesville. You know, he came down here on US 21 from Statesville along with 2 colleagues, Harry Underwood and our Eddie Earl, and they probably had many other stories about what happened after they got on campus, but we'll leave those stories to the aftermath. Billy served his country as captain in the U.S. Army out in El Paso in the artillery unit. He served his community through the Davis Community Hospital Board, the Iredale Community or County Board of Commissioners for 2 terms, the session of his Presbyterian Church, the Greater Statesville Rotary Club, the Statesville JCs, the YMCA, and the Boy Scouts of America. And along the way, he refereed wrestling at the college and national level and high school level. And then you think about, well, what did Billy do on campus? And I said, Billy, what was it you really remember the most? And he says, flicker ball. And it was he and Tommy Hamilton who were dueling against one of the Kappa Sig teams. I think that was one of those games that we remember very well. Billy served Davidson as a member of the Alumni Association Board for 4 years. He was president of the Statesville Alumni Chapter and member or chair of his 20th, 25th, 30th, 40th, 45th, and 50th reunion committees. He was class agent for the Fund Davidson and a member of the Davidson Athletic Fund Board. And Billy, of course, is married to Dr. Elizabeth Mills, who I've been naming as Libby because we've known each other for such a long time. But I will say that not only is he married to, but I was talking to John Kirkendall the other day, and John was telling me that Billy is one of his best friends. And he says, because Billy's always got your back. Then I was talking to Johnny Rogers, who you all know, and Johnny tells me, he said, what was the most memorable thing about Billy? He said, well, I have to say his service to the college. I said, how so? And he said, he was the best and most effective faculty spouse Davidson ever had. Davidson College owes Bill a debt of gratitude for his support and encouragement of Davidson's 30-year tenure as a beloved professor in the English department. Libby's father, Neil Begay, he graduated several years before Billy's father. So Davidson is in the family, and of course, two of their three sons attended Davidson, William and Thomas. Billy described her father as a great friend and mentor who was, as a Davidson graduate, honored posthumously in 1980 at his 50th reunion with the same award that Bill is receiving today. One nominator, anonymous, I don't usually go with anonymous sources, but this is a great quote. Bill is the sort of wildcat who quietly does anything that needs doing and does not expect accolades. Whether it is serving on the Alumni Association board or organizing his class reunions or tending to his neighbor Will Terry during his illness, Billy just takes care of business. His work ethic is matched only by his love for Davidson and his distaste for the limelight. For your tireless efforts and love for Davidson, for the ways in which you keep your fellow alumni connected with the alma mater and with each other, for your humane instincts and discipline and creative mind. Today we thank you, William Mills, and present you with the Alumni Service Award.
Sketches where they had the guy with the hook. But you did say two things. I love Davidson, and I don't like accolades. Thank you.